Here on The Colour of Country Life, great to have Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool with us. How are you this week, Andrew?
Very well, Ricky. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad. You're sounding pretty good, given all this red pen you've given me in this week's report. We've had a pretty rough week on the wool markets for the sellers anyway.
Yeah, look, you sort of got to drill down into the devil in the detail a bit, Ricky. In all sense, it actually wasn't too bad a week. We've had a bit stronger currency, and we had a bit more trouble trading. The greasy traders actually dropped off the buyers list this week, and there was more of a top-making sort of feature and a few indents in the market. So we missed the sort of spirited bidding of the traders, and they're finding it a bit hard to sell at the current time, but ably supported by the top makers. So the thing is that the top makers, they sort of come in, for want of a better word, they're the bottom dwellers. They sort of, when they buy the cheaper sort of end of the market, they buy the ones that don't fit the better orders, and they were just sitting there underneath the market waiting for this little bit of a drop. So yep. It can be read differently.
Yeah. I might call them opportunists, perhaps. That's probably the only green in the indications down there is down the bottom.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So it wasn't a bad week. Whether it's a trend, let's see when the next couple of weeks how things are going. We've got lower offerings coming in, so our offerings are dropping under 40,000 bales in the next couple of weeks as they do seasonally, so it's no surprise to anyone in the market or anyone who needs to buy wool. They know that these lower supplies are coming forward. So we'll just get a bit of a wait and see the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens.
And we had a higher pass-in rate by the looks of it as well, which has been climbing in recent weeks.
A lot of crossbreds getting passed in, Ricky. Again, bit of devil in the detail. The merinos are sort of selling. If you look through there, a lot of the merinos are sort of selling in that 5 to 10% sort of pass-in rate, but you go down to the crossbred fleece. On average, we're seeing anywhere between 20 and 30% of crossbreds getting passed in. A lot of wet weather, a lot of colour in the wool, and these just aren't meeting expectations of the sellers, obviously, and the buyers don't want that wool either.
And then also in the report from AWEX, we've got this indication that there was 140,000 more bales put through the system than the same time last year. So a bit of perspective as well is useful. It's like a 9% increase on the previous year.
Yeah, so and we're dealing with all the COVID concerns as well, and that number is pretty much born out of the COVID as well. We had a really bad market there 12 months ago, and a lot of wool getting passed in and sort of coming onto the market going forward. So good for growers to actually do that when you get a bit stubborn and not prepared to take that price when the market's a bit weaker, because the last thing we want to do in a market that's sort of being a bit soft back in those bad times is to just have wool dumped onto the market for the fear, the fear of missing out or the fear of gain sort of thing. So the old FOMO.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, looking at future sales and even what's up for auction next week, we're looking at a declining volume of sales potentially as we head towards the end of the selling season, or the end of the financial year, I should say?
Certainly, Ricky, yeah. So we're going to see a bit of a drop down, and that can sometimes play into the reason why the traders aren't willing to sort of sell forward. We've got this extended sort of logistics now, so we've got to hang on to wool longer. And as of today, anything I'm sort of selling today into China, for instance, I'm being told that the ships aren't really available until early August. So it sort of impacts on your thinking and whether you want to take that price or not take that price. When you've got a lower offering and you've got to sit on it and get it to the ship early August, that's a good 2 months away. It just plays on the mind a little bit and makes you a little bit cautious.
Yeah, it's a little bit of container ship roulette, I guess, if I could call it that.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, all right. Well, Andrew, any other major observations from the market this week, things you saw as you were in the thick of the trading?
Yeah, I'm just selling a little bit forward. There's an offer board called Ryman's, and it's a bit of a bid and offer screen. So we're seeing what the buyers and sellers are wanting to do, and we can sort of lock in wool into the spring. About 40 or 50 clean under this market. We're looking at 19 microns at the moment. The indicator's around that 1750 mark, and you can sell forward around that sort of 1700 mark into the spring. So it's not all doom and gloom. That 1700 clean's not a bad number when you.
Well, compare that to the current prices. You're looking in the high to mid 1500s, aren't you?
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not. It's just seasonal as we're going through these lower supplies. There seems to be an underweight. There is demand there at a bit lesser price. It's certainly not running away at this point in time, Ricky. So, we're just sort of looking for a steady market just going forward. And these lower supplies might actually push the market up sporadically. But, I think just sort of going sideways for the time being.
All right. Well, we'll see how it turns out next week. Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool, thanks for joining us again today on Flow.
Cheers.